I knitted this vest. It was really not that difficult to do, even though I had these cables going on in the front side. So if you'd like to see how I did that, just keep on watching. So first off, here is the yarn that I use, and this is acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic yarn. And you can just see here the details of the yarn. So I use a circular needle, and here I'm just going to cast on my stitches. So you're going to make a pile of the yarn like I'm showing you here, and then you're going to make a knot. So you have a long strand of thread on one end, and the other end is connected to the yarn bundle. So here I'm showing you how I make the stitches. So I made a total of 176 stitches. You just want to keep on doing this until you have the stitch count that you prefer. So I just finished casting all of my stitches. So you want to make sure that they are not twisted before you're going to connect them, like I'm showing you here. And for the first row, we're going to do rib stitches, which means we're going to do 2 knit stitches, like I'm doing here. And then we're going to do 2 purl stitches. And then repeat that sequence all the way around. So this is what purl stitches look like. So yeah, I just want to keep on doing purl and knit stitches all the way around to create the rib stitch. Going to look like this. So just go on and finish the first row. So now I finished my first row. I'm really sorry about the bad lighting, it was really late. So what we're going to do for row number 2 and the next rows, we're going to do knit stitches above knit stitches and purl stitches above purl stitches. And that is what create these lines that will be our rib stitching. So here I finished with the 18 rows of rib stitching. You can do how many rows you prefer. I just did 18 because I thought it looked pretty. And here I'm showing you the cables that we're going to work. This cable is going to be in the middle, and then this little one is going to be on the side, and we're going to have 2 of the small ones and just 1 of the big ones. So here I marked with 2 green threads the front and the back side of my vest. In the back side I have 87, and on the front side I have 89 stitches. So I have 2 more on the front side. Okay, so here I've marked where our cables are going to be. So for the first row, we're just going to do knit stitches and a couple of purl stitches. So you're going to do knit stitches until you are close to the white thread. Now, the stitch before the white thread we're going to do as a purl stitch, as I'm showing you. And then the stitches between the white thread here, we're also going to knit as knit stitches. And then 1 purl, just like this. So this is the small cable. So now we're going to do knit stitches until we are 2 stitches from the middle right white thread, which is our biggest cable. Now here we're going to do 2 purl stitches before the white line, like this, and then knit stitches. And then that's 9 knit stitches inside the white thread, and with the small cable there's 6 stitches inside the cable, or inside the white lines. So just do 2 more purl stitches after the white line, and then with the other cable to the left is the same one as the first cable. So you're just going to repeat what we did in the beginning. So you can see here we have the 2 purl stitches, or 1 purl stitch before and after the white thread. So now you're just going to do knit stitches on the back side to this green thread. So I'm going to meet you up there. So now we are here. That was the first row, row number 19. So now we're going to repeat this pattern, this exact pattern, for 2 more rows. So you're just going to do knit stitches above knit stitches and purl stitches above purl stitches. So now we've done with that. And now we're going to do the first row where we're going to turn our cables. So first off, you're just going to do knit stitches over to the cable, to the first cable. And remember to do a purl stitch before entering the cable stitching. So now we're going to take a helping needle. This one is a half number smaller than my circular needle, which is 3 millimeter. This is 2.5. So here what we're going to do is we're going to take our helping needle, and then we're going to take the first 3 stitches over to that needle, like I'm showing you here. And then we're just going to ignore them for a moment and then knit the next 3 stitches. Just like that. And then we're going to put the 3 stitches from the helping needle back onto our circular needle, like this, and then we're going to knit them. So that's actually how we're going to turn our cables, by just doing this, using our helping needle to pull them in front or back of the work. And then 1 purl. So now we're just going to do knit stitches until we are to the middle cable. So you can see it's slightly turned. So yeah, just do knit stitches until you are to the middle cable, and I'm going to show you how we turn that. So 2 purl stitches before we're going to do anything. So first, you're just going to knit 3 stitches. Then we take our helping needle and we pull 3 stitches over to that, and then we knit the next 3 stitches. And then you're going to put the stitches back and then knit them. Just like that. And then 2 purl stitches. And this is what it looks like. So you can see it's slightly turned the middle of the stitches. So now we're just going to do knit stitches to the last cable, which we're going to do the exact same as we did at the first cable. So I'm just going to speed that up just a little bit. So here once again, we turn the cable by taking the 3 first stitches in front of our work, knitting 3 stitches, putting them back and then knitting them. And then we do one purl before and after the cable. So that was actually our first cable row. So now we're just going to do knit stitches over to this point, and I'll meet you back here. So I just finished a round and I'm going to do knit stitches into here where we turn our cable. And now we're just going to knit above them and not turning anything. I'm just going to show you how I do that. Always remember the purl stitches. So you're just going to knit these stitches that I'll turn as they were normal knit stitches. And you're going to do this for the entire row, like this. So you're going to finish this row and do 2 more. So now I just did that, and you can see the cable kind of forming. And I'm going to, so for this row we're just going to turn the middle cable. So we're just going to knit over the 2 side cables, like in the previous 3 rounds where we just knit over all 3. So just like that. So now I'm going to show you the second part of turning this middle cable. So now we're going to take our helping needle, take the first 3 this time. And then you're going to hold them on the back side of your work. Just like this. And then knit 3 stitches. Just like that. And now we're going to put the stitches back on our circle needle. And then we're going to knit them. And the last 3 stitches of this cable. Then 2 purl stitches, and then just finish this row with purl stitches over purl stitches and knit stitches over knit stitches, and that actually ends our pattern repeat for this first half of this vest. So what you're going to do, you can just go back in the video and watch it again. So the side cables you're only going to turn every 7 rows, so we're going to do 6 rows where we do not turn them, where the middle row the middle cable you're going to turn after 3 rows. So just keep that in mind, but you can just go back in the video and watch it again. So now I finished with the first part that I just explained to you. So here I just marked with yellow thread the exact middle stitch of the front side. It's the middle of the middle cable here, as you can see, and we're going to close this stitch. So first off, just going to knit into it, and then we're going to close it. And I'm closing this in a row where I'm not turning any of my cables, which makes it a little easier. So I'm just closing it like I'm showing you here, and then I'm just going to knit the rest of a row. So I'm going to knit all the way around. Onto the green thread, so that is here. And I'm also going to knit into here. So now I'm just finishing this little row off. So now we're not going to be knitting around. I'm sorry about the lighting. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, we're not going to be knitting around. We're not going to knit like back and forth. Like I'm kind of trying to show you with my finger. But yeah, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to flip your work over like this. So this is what I'm going to call the back side or the inside of the vest. And every time you work this side, where you're going to do a lot of purl stitches, you're going to close the first stitch towards the middle of the front. So towards the yellow thread, as I'm showing you here. And then we're just going to knit all the way to we reach this little side where we split it up, so that it makes here. And you're going to keep following the pattern. Now we're going to do it on the back side, so it can be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So once again here, I'm closing the stitch because it's the back side or the inside. So now we're doing the front side of the vest, so we're not going to be closing any stitches. So it's in every other row towards what's going to be the neckline. So you just want to keep following that pattern and keep turning the cables until you are here. So now I'm going to be closing for the arm opening. So I just move my green threads up to my working stitches so it's easier for me to see. So I'm just going to knit into the green. I'm going to knit until there's 3 stitches to the green thread. So now here we are, and we're going to be closing the first 3 stitches and the next 3 stitches. So we're going to be closing 6 stitches in each side. So that was the first 3. And then we're going to do 3 more. And then you're just going to knit stitch the back side until you are to the next green thread, and then do the exact same. So you also have 6 closed stitches over there. So just go ahead and do that. So now you can see we have split it in 3 parts. So you're going to be knitting the front side in 2 parts separately. And I'm just going to show you this part where the yarn is attached. Yes. So again, we're still going to be closing when we are in the inside of the vest. So we're going to do that. Keep on doing that. And we're also going to be closing towards the other side, towards the green thread in the first 4 rows. So here I'm just knitting. And I'm going to do my cable. And when you do, I don't know if I mentioned that, but when you do the cable turn on your 2 small cables, when you're doing it on the inside, you're going to do the exact same. So you're still going to be taking the first 3 stitches. So you're just going to be doing the same, but do them as purl stitches. I hope that makes sense. I just showed you, so I hope you can figure it out. So yeah, you can see it here. So I just accidentally made knit stitches instead of purl stitches. That's why I going back a little to gather up the stitches and doing them correctly, if you were wondering. Okay, so we're going to keep on knitting until there is 4 stitches left. So that is now, and then we're going to close 2 stitches. So that is the first row. Yeah, in total we're going to be closing 6 stitches. So in this row, the front side, we're going to be closing 1 stitch, like this, and then just knit it as we normally would, following the pattern. So we're just going to finish this row and do the next also until there's 4 stitches left, like this. And then we're also going to be close these 2 and the next. This is the last closing stitch towards the green thread. So this is what our closing look like. We're going to have 4 knit stitches before our cable, doing this number of stitches to the beginning. I don't know if that makes sense. So you're not going to be closing any more stitches towards the green thread, towards the armhole. I don't know what to call that. But yeah, now we're just going to keep on doing the same pattern, which means we're going to be closing 1 stitch when we're doing the inside. And we're going to keep on doing that, closing 1 stitch on the inside and just knitting all of the stitches on the outside until there's only 3 knit stitches left before the cable. So like this. So here you can see I have 3 cables, no, not cable stitches, knit stitches left before the cable, yes. So this is what it looks like. It's about 15 stitches. So now we're not going to do any decreases. So we're just going to knit all of the stitches going back and forth. And I did about 30 rows from here to I closed them off. I thought that was the length that fitted. You can do how many rows you would like. I did 30 or 31. It doesn't really matter that much. So here I did finish my rows. This is what it looks like. It looks kind of funny. So I'm just going to be closing them, and I'm doing the same technique as I've been closing all of the other closed stitches. Yes. I'm just going to do that with all of these, and then the first part of the front side is done. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. The first part of the front is done. And for the second part, we're just going to copy what we just did. So I just wrote down on paper every row what I did, so it's really easy to copy and make the exact same. Also to keep track on when I need to turn my cables. But you can do whatever you prefer to do. You can also just watch this again while doing the other side. I'm going to start with 33 stitches, by the way, when you start the front side. So now I just knitted the other part of the front, and this is what it looks like. So now we're going to do the back side. And the back side is really boring and really easy, actually, and simple. We're going to be closing it the exact same way as we did in the front side. So that means the first row you're going to close 2, then 1, then 2, and then 1. So the exact same. And for the rest of the back, you're just going to knit back and forth. So that is just the same. And it doesn't really matter where you attach your thread, what side you start on. You can do whatever side you prefer. It doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, you can just go ahead and knit the back side. So the last thing we need to do is to make the rib edge. And here you can see I've already made the rib for one of the sleeves and the neckline. So now I'm going to show you how I make this rib edge for one sleeve, and then I'm going to show you how to close up the middle part of the neckline. So I use a crochet hook to gather my stitches because I find that's the easiest way. So here you can see how I do that. I just pull my hook through and pull the yarn over, and then I can put it on my knitting needle. And that is how I gather up my stitches. And I had 100 stitches here in the sleeve, and I'm going to knit 10 rows with rib stitching. So knitting the rib stitching, we're going to do exactly what we did when we started. So we're going to do 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches. And then for the next 9 rows, we're just going to do knit stitches above knit stitches and purl stitches above purl stitches. So it's really simple. It's something we've already done, so it should be easy for you to do it yourself. So here for the gathering of the neckline, so this rib, first of all, I just collected my stitches just the same way as we did with the sleeve, but I did not knit around. I knitted it front and back, so you can see they're not connected here in the middle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take it like this and put it over like this, and then I'm just going to sew it with just a needle and thread. And you can sew it with hand sewing, you can also do it on a sewing machine. And that is the last step. So when you're done with this, your vest is completely done. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you haven't done already, please subscribe to my channel. I upload every Thursday, so